Bandidos, what up? So the Division 2 came out right around the same time the pandemic started messing with everything, and if you've played it, you might have felt like the story was hitting a little too close to home. With the Battle for Brooklyn DLC coming soon in 2025, this video is all about getting you ready for it. Think of it as your chill, catch-up guide to the lore so you can jump into the new content fully prepped. We're breaking down the whole story in a laid-back Cliff Notes style, keeping it simple and straight to the point. Here's what we've got lined up. We'll cover the virus that started it all, the agents fighting to hold things together, the factions causing chaos, and those gut-punch betrayals you can't forget. We'll walk through the New York mess from the first game, the DC madness in the Division 2, the Warlords of New York expansion, and tie it all together with the key characters and moments from each season. Plus, we'll tease what's coming with Battle for Brooklyn. Let's do this.
Wait, did we just become best friends? So nice to meet you. I think you're cool.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
Real fast, this is a needs to know Cliff Notes style breakdown for the Division lore. Hey, make sure you stick around all the way to the end because there's a surprise waiting for you. I want to give big props to NGN for his awesome take on this universe. He does a fantastic job covering the lore. So if you enjoy lore dives like this and want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, be sure to check him out. Links below. Now that I've paid homage, let's dive in and get ready for the Battle for Brooklyn. Let's kick things off with the basics. The Division isn't just a game, it's the Strategic Homeland Division, or SHD, a secret government program created under Directive 51 to keep society running when everything else fails. Think of it like a last resort. When a catastrophe hits, a secret group of sleeper agents are activated via these orange smartwatches. Their job? Restore order, protect survivors, and stop the world from totally collapsing. These aren't soldiers or spies, they're regular people, teachers, cops, engineers, people like you and I, trained in secret and embedded across the US. You play as one of these agents, tasked with saving whatever's left. Alright, the whole saga begins on Black Friday 2015, when a nasty virus called the dollar flu, or green poison, a modified smallpox strain, spreads via contaminated banknotes in New York City. Yup, dirty money. Within days, society is a mess. Within weeks, millions are dead. Cities are crumbling, stores empty, streets burning. We're talking total chaos. This outbreak, detailed in the Division, leads to social collapse, prompting the activation of the Strategic Homeland Division, SHD. The player, as a SHD agent or Division agent, is tasked with restoring order, setting the stage for the narrative. They're armed with SHD tech, drones, turrets, seeker mines, all controlled by Isaac, an AI that's like their personal mission control. Cool, right? So in Division 1, you're dropped into a frozen, wrecked New York City midwinter right after a devastating outbreak. Snow covers the streets, abandoned cars are everywhere, and quarantine zones block off entire neighborhoods. You're a Division agent, part of a secret group, activated to reclaim the city from the chaos. What starts as a simple mission to set up a base in Manhattan turns into a wild ride through a collapsing society, uncovering dark secrets and fighting some seriously messed up enemies. Let's break it all down. Imagine New York City turned into a ghost town overnight. That's where the Division begins. It's right after the dollar flu. A nasty virus nicknamed green poison rips through the population. Spread through contaminated cash on Black Friday, it kills millions and sends society into a tailspin. Your boots on the ground in Manhattan, trying to figure out what happened and stop the city from falling apart completely. But as you dig deeper, you realize this isn't just a random disaster. It's a deliberate attack, and the stakes are way higher than you thought. The story's shaped by the factions you're up against, and the characters pulling the strings. You're not just fighting to survive. You're piecing together a conspiracy that sets the stage for everything that comes later. Here's the rundown. The dollar flu isn't some natural plague, it's a weapon. You find out it was cooked up by Dr. Gordon Amherst, an eco-terrorist with a twisted vision. He thought wiping out most of humanity would save the planet by hitting the reset button on civilization. Super dark, right? But by the time you track him down through his journals and lab, he's already dead. But his creation lives on, tearing through New York. And that's not even the worst part. Someone else picks up where he left off. New York's a war zone, and 4 main factions are making it worse. Each one's got their own vibe, motives, and leaders, and they're all gunning for you. You have the rioters. These are regular people turned bad. Looters and scavengers, driven to violence by desperation. They're not organized, just chaotic, popping up everywhere to ambush you over scraps like a can of food. Think of them as the city's broken survivors, too hungry and scared to care who they hurt. Cleaners? Now these guys are creepy. Former sanitization workers led by Joe Farrow, they've gone full fanatic. They believe the virus can't be stopped, so their fix is to purify everything with fire, flamethrowers, and all. You can almost understand their logic until they start torching innocent survivors. Not cool. Rikers? Escaped convicts from Rikers Island, led by Lorraine Barrett. They're brutal, armed to the teeth, and out for revenge against the society that locked them up. You take Barrett down in a nasty showdown at their stronghold, but the Rikers keep coming, a constant thorn in your side. The Last Man Battalion, LMB, the heavy hitters, a private military company gone rogue and led by Charles Bliss. Hired to secure New York, they decided to take over instead. With top-tier gear and a fortress in the UN building, they're a force. You storm their base, kill Bliss, and scatter them, but they leave a lasting mark on the city's chaos. These factions aren't just random enemies, they're the heartbeat of the story, showing how far people will go when everything falls apart. As you battle through the factions, you uncover the truth about the Dollar Flu and Amherst's insane plan. But the real twist comes with Aaron Keener, a division agent who goes rogue. He grabs Amherst's research and kidnaps Vitaly Chernenko, a virologist who knows how to weaponize the virus even further. Keener bolts from the Dark Zone, a lawless part of New York City, leaving you with a half win. You beat the LMB and stabilize New York, but he's out there, plotting something bigger. That betrayals the spark that lights up the sequel. So the story wouldn't hit the same without these characters. They're the ones who keep you invested, from allies you trust to traitors who flip the script. Faye Lau. Faye's a second wave division agent, activated after the outbreak. She's your coordinator, running the show from the base of operations in Manhattan after a helicopter crash injures her and kills her boss, Louise Chang. Tough and no nonsense, she's your lifeline, guiding you through missions and keeping the team together. But there's a hint of something more brewing, and her story takes a wild turn in The Division 2. Aaron Keener. He's the game changer, a first wave agent who goes rogue after the Dark Zone falls apart. Keener's done with the Division's rules. He thinks he can build a new order from the ashes, and he's willing to burn everything down to do it. He steals Amherst's research, snags Chernenko, and escapes, leaving a cliffhanger that haunts you long after the credits roll. His defection is the story's gut punch. Dr. Gordon Amherst, the mastermind behind the Dollar Flu, an eco-terrorist with a warped save the planet agenda. He's already dead when you find him, but his journals and lab reveal the virus's origin. He's not a fighter, just the ghost behind the chaos. Vitaly Chernenko, a Russian virologist kidnapped by Keener. He's not a big player on screen, but his knowledge of the virus makes him a key piece in Keener's plans. You don't save him, and that failure stings. Joe Farrow, leader of the Cleaners, a sanitization worker turned fire-obsessed zealot. He's convinced burning the city is the only way to stop the virus. You take him out, but his creepy mission lingers. The Division is all about a city on the brink, frozen, broken, and overrun. You fight the rioters, cleaners, Rikers, and Last Man Battalion to reclaim it, and covering Amherst's twisted virus plot along the way. Faye Lau keeps you grounded, but Aaron Keener's betrayal steals the show, escaping with Chernenko and a head full of dangerous ideas. By the end, you've won the battle for New York, but Keener's out there, and you know the war's far from over. It's a gritty personal story of survival and secrets, and trust me, it only gets crazier from here. So imagine it's been 7 months since that nasty Dollar Flu trashed New York, and now it's DC's turn to fall apart. As a division agent, a secret government badass with some sweet tech, you've set up camp at the White House. Yup, that White House. Except it's less leader of the free world and more Last Stand HQ these days. You're teaming up with the Joint Task Force, JTF, the handful of cops and soldiers still holding it together, and DC is a total disaster. Overgrown streets, crumbling monuments, and for some weird reason, toilet paper is sold out citywide. Your gig? Keep the city from turning into a complete dumpster fire. But it's not just the virus screwing things up anymore. There are these new crews running wild, all scrapping for control, and you've got a big job. Rescue President Ellis, who everyone thought was toast, and snag a cure from one of these gangs. Easy peasy, right? Not even close. Let's unpack it. DC's got 4 main groups making life miserable, and they're all different flavors of chaos. Hyenas. These dudes are like that rowdy friend group that never grew out of smashing stuff for fun. They're a mashup of crooks, junkies, and troublemakers who thrive on this mess. They hit up settlements, swipe whatever's not nailed down, and party like the apocalypse is spring break in Cancun. You've got to knock out their sketchy bosses one by one. They're a pain, but they're not exactly masterminds. Outcasts. Okay, these folks have a legit beef. They survived a brutal quarantine, locked up, abandoned, the works, and they're pissed. Their leader, Emmeline Shaw, is out for blood, blaming the government for everything. Her big idea? Spread the virus, so everyone else suffers too. You take her down at Roosevelt Island, but you can feel the resentment lingering. True Sons, picture ex-military types who've gone full-on power trip. That's the True Sons, run by General Antoine Ridgway. They're all about control, martial law, executions, no mercy. They've got the cure you need, so you storm the Capitol to take Ridgway out. Spoiler, he doesn't go down easy. Black Tusk. Oh man, these guys, next level. Black Tusk isn't just some gang. They're a private military outfit with gear that screams future war. More on them in a sec, cause they deserve their own spotlight. Your main gig is rescuing President Ellis from the True Sons. Turns out he's alive. Big surprise. And he's supposed to help get the government back on its feet. You also need to grab that cure they're hoarding at the Capitol. To pull it off, you're fixing the SHD network, your fancy tech lifeline, by reclaiming spots like District Union Arena and Roosevelt Island. It's a slog, but you make it happen. Just when you're popping the champagne, Black Tusk rolls in like, not so fast. They take over everything you just fought for, and suddenly, you're back at square one. And get this, Ellis might not be the good guy you thought. There's a vibe he's playing both sides. Then, there are the Hunters. Creepy masked killers who pop up, smoke your team, and ghost out. What's their deal? Well, we'll get there. There's a lot going on, right? So here's the crew you need to remember. President Ellis, the dude you saved. He's supposed to be the fix, but after Black Tusk shows up, you're side-eyeing him hard. Manny Ortega, your White House coordinator. He's a JTF guy who lost his uncle to this mess, so he's your ride-or-die mission buddy. Agent Alani Kelso, your tough-as-nails partner. She's solid for most of it, but later she starts doing stuff that makes you go, Emmeline Shaw, the outcast leader. She's got reasons to be mad, but her revenge plot's too far, so you shut it down. General Antoine Ridgway, True Sons head honcho. Total control freak, taking him out at the Capitol is a highlight. Barden Schaefer, Black Tusk's field guy. Smart, brutal, and always ahead of you. He's a problem. Natalia Sokolova, Black Tusk's CEO. Cold as ice, with sketchy ties to something called Megiddo. Bad vibes all around. Calvin McManus, Homeland Security bigwig, secretly running the Hunters. He's in the shadows, and you don't trust him one bit. All right, let's dig into Black Tusk, because these guys are wild. They're not your typical post-apocalypse thugs. They're a private military company with tech that's straight out of a blockbuster. We're talking drones buzzing around your head, robotic dogs with freaking lasers, and soldiers decked out in gear that makes the True Sons look like they're playing dress up. They've got unlimited funding, someone's bankrolling them big time, and they've got ties to the US government that makes you go, wait, what? Here's the deal. You spend all this time beating the hyenas, outcasts, and True Sons thinking you're the champ, and then Black Tusk swoops in like they've been chilling on the sidelines, waiting for you to tire yourself out. They take over every stronghold you just cleared, and it's like, seriously, dudes? Their field leader, Barden Schaefer, is a tactical beast, always 2 steps ahead, smirking while he screws you over. But their real brains? Natalia Sokolova, their CEO. She's this icy, calculated type who's clearly got plans way bigger than DC. Picture this, you're just vibing in DC, scavenging some gear, feeling like the king of the apocalypse, and then bam, these masked freaks drop in and turn your day upside down. Meet the Hunters, the game's resident nightmares. They're not your average baddies. They're elite, mysterious, and tied to some seriously shady stuff courtesy of Calvin McManus. Let's unpack it. So the Hunters, they're like the Division's boogeyman. You don't just stumble into them. They show up in special spots, or you summon them after deciphering riddles and stuff. And when they show up, it's go time. These guys are stacked. Crazy skills, top tier gear, and they hit like a truck. And the creepiest part? Their gear adorns the watches of dead Division agents. Yeah, they're out here collecting trophies from us. Now, where did these psychos come from? Well, that's where Calvin McManus rolls in. He's the bigwig Secretary of Homeland Security I mentioned earlier, or what's left of it after the world went kaput. But don't let the fancy title fool you. This dude's got shady secrets. The game drops breadcrumbs like audio logs and seasonal missions, looking at you, Hidden Alliance, that reveal McManus as the one calling the shots with the Hunters. He's got them on speed dial, working with sketchy folks like Natalia Sokolova from the Black Tusk to keep things under control. Dirty? Oh, you bet. Here's the scoop. The Hunters are basically a failsafe. Their main gig is hunting down rogue agents. You know, the ones who've gone full chaos mode like Aaron Keener and Warlords of New York. There's even a hunter called Deceit in Season 3, who's all about taking out rogues tied to Black Tusk. It's like McManus said, hey, if our own people go off the rails, I've got a cleanup crew. Makes sense, right? The Division's got a lot of power, and someone's got to keep it in check. But plot twist, they don't just go after rogues. They'll smoke you too, even if you're still rocking the orange watch and playing by the rules. Why? Maybe it's just the devs keeping us on our toes. Or maybe McManus doesn't trust anyone with that much power. Or maybe, just maybe, we are the ones who have gone rogue. It could be the hunters are just there to remind every agent, step out of line and you're donezo. Those masks though. Let's circle back to those masks real quick. Wearing one isn't just creepy fashion. It's a statement. We killed you, now I wear your face. Cool, right? The community's all about it. It's part of the game to hunt the hunters and collect all their masks. So yeah, the Division 2 peels back the curtain just enough to show us the hunters are McManus's ace in the hole, built to handle rogues and maybe keep everyone else in line too. You catch the hints in audio logs, don't skip them, and missions. But there's still a ton we don't know. Next time a hunter crashes your party, just know it's not random. Calvin's pulling the strings, and those masks are a warning. So tech is a really important part of the Division game, so I want to take a quick moment to cover it. SHD Tech is the high-tech gear that Division agents rely on to survive and fight in a crumbling world. It's the backbone of their operations, giving them an advantage in combat and survival. The centerpiece is the smartwatch, a sleek orange device that's way more than a fashion statement. It activates agents, connects them to the strategic Homeland Division network, and controls a suite of gadgets. This tech turns agents into walking arsenals, letting them take on overwhelming odds in a post-pandemic chaos. In the story, SHD Tech represents the Division's mission: restore order with superior tools. But it's also a double-edged sword. When agents go rogue, they take this tech with them, turning it against allies. It's a constant reminder that power in this world comes from what you wield, and SHD Tech is the ultimate prize. Isaac is the artificial intelligence running on every agent's smartwatch. It's like a super smart assistant designed for the apocalypse. Think Siri, but with tactical skills. Isaac provides real-time updates, marks enemies on your heads-up display, tracks missions, and keeps agents connected to the SHD network. It's your guide through ruined cities, your early warning system, and sometimes the only voice keeping you sane. Without Isaac, agents would be lost in the literal and figurative dark. In the narrative, Isaac is the glue that holds the Division together. It symbolizes the organization's reliance on technology to maintain control. But its importance also makes it a vulnerability. Hack it and you cripple the agents. That's where the story takes a twist. Anna is Isaac's dark counterpart. When Keener went rogue, he didn't just abandon the cause, he hacked the SHD network and built Anna to serve his own agenda. It's an AI designed to help rogue agents, jamming Division signals, disrupting their tech, and giving Keener's force a tactical edge. Every time you face a rogue agent, Anna's there, working against you like a ghost in the machine. Keener's not just a villain with a gun, he's a mastermind who turns the Division's strength into a weapon against it. Anna escalates the conflict, showing how even the best tools can backfire when they fall into the wrong hands. Ortiz Robotics is a company behind some of the game's most advanced technology, particularly the drones and robots used by the Black Tusk faction. These aren't your average tech startups. They're chumming out cutting-edge machines that can save lives or end them, depending on who's paying. Black Tusk, a private military group with shady motives, relies heavily on Ortiz creations, like swarms of drones and hulking robotic units that make them a nightmare to fight. In the story, Ortiz Robotics adds a layer of corporate intrigue. They're not just suppliers, they hint at a bigger picture where technology and power are tied to profit and hidden agendas. Are they neutral innovators, or do they have a stake in the chaos? Their tech in Black Tusk's hands raises questions about who's really in control. These elements aren't just cool features, they're woven into the fabric of the Division's story. SHD Tech empowers agents but becomes a liability when it's stolen. Isaac keeps the Division running while Anna turns the system against them. Ortiz Robotics amplifies the threat of factions like Black Tusk, hinting at deeper conspiracies. Together, they create a world where technology is both savior and destroyer, and the line between hero and villain depends on who controls it. Here's a little tidbit you need to know. Claire Ortiz and her husband, Alexander, founded Ortiz Robotics, where they worked with DARPA in developing cutting-edge military hardware and AI for the US government and their corporate interests. She also was the brainchild behind Anna and the Descent Combat Simulation program. You should also know that Claire and her husband worked on 2 offshoots, Isaac for Cal to be used in the NSA, National Security Agency, and his newly minted Strategic Homeland Division. The other one is called Diamond, and it's a critical backbone system for Natalia's Black Tusk. At one point, Claire and Alex was requested by Calvin to create a unique watch that allows Cal access to all of the AI systems, Anna, Isaac, and Diamond included. While they designed the backdoor protocol necessary to make it happen, Claire was concerned about the security risk. Alright, let's quickly sidebar on DC62, this wild chemical in the Division 2 that's got a real hero complex gone wrong vibe. Imagine you're in DC, the green poison virus is wrecking everything, and the government's like, don't worry, we've got this yellow powder called DC62 that'll stop it. Sounds awesome, right? Except here's the kicker. When it gets cold, DC62 turns into a toxic disaster. It's like they tried to fix one mess and accidentally made a whole new one. Super on brand for an apocalypse, honestly. You'll see the stuff all over the game, mostly in these sketchy yellow barrels, especially in the dark zones. Those are the quarantine spots where things went totally off the rails. And DC62's a big part of that chaos. They tested it in Georgetown, and bam, that's how Dark Zone West popped up. Then a stockpile blew up, giving us Dark Zone East, and some flooding created Dark Zone South. Every time they tried to roll this stuff out, it was like, oops, here's another disaster. Now the True Sons, these militaristic punks, got their hands on DC62 and turned it into a weapon. They shoved it into mortar shells and just obliterated the castle settlement. Super brutal move. In the game, DC62 spices things up by making some areas feel extra dicey. You don't need a hazmat suit or anything fancy, but it's got this vibe of, hey, don't hang out here too long, or you're gonna have a bad time. The whole deal with DC62 screams desperate times, desperate measures. The government was freaking out about the virus, so they threw this half-cooked solution at it, and now it's biting everyone back. There's even some lore where you hear officials bickering about whether they should have used it, like even they weren't sold on it. Adds a nice little moral twist to the story. So here's the big gist. The Division 2 drops you from New York's snowy chaos into DC's sweaty meltdown. You're battling these crazy factions, saving a president who might be shady, and chasing a cure that's always slipping away. DC62 is this yellow powder that's supposed to be the big save, but ended up as another layer of crazy. Black Tusk steals your thunder, hunters keep you paranoid, and folks like Manny and Kelso keep you sane. By the end, DC's kinda stable, emphasis on kind, but you're left with a million questions. Who's really in charge? What's Black Tusk plotting? And seriously, who are these hunters? That's the hook that drags you into the expansions and seasons, and man, it's a ride worth taking. Now let's hit the Warlords of New York DLC, a massive chapter that takes you back to Lower Manhattan. It's 2020, and Aaron Keener's your target. He's been busy building a rogue agent network and planning a chemical attack with a new virus strain. You're sent in with Fei Lau, your old partner, to stop him. Keener's got 4 lieutenants running the show. We got Javier Kajika, a stealthy CIA cloak and dagger type dude who's running with the cleaners and ambushes you in the dark. You got James Dragoff, he's running with the Rikers, he's basically the boss, ruling the financial district with an iron fist. Theo Parnell, a tech genius, jamming your gear with traps, and Vivian Connolly, a rogue agent leading the cleaners. You track them down one by one, taking out each lieutenant in brutal fights across flooded, ruined streets. Every kill gets you closer to Keener and reveals his plan, a rogue faction alliance to hit DC with a new bioweapon. Fei Lau's acting weird too. The climax is Liberty Island, Keener's lair. You fight through his drones, then face him head on. He's fast, smart, and taunts you the whole time. You take him down, but not before he triggers a missile strike that nearly wipes you out. Turns out, he's left his virus tech behind, and Fei Lau flips, revealing she's joined Black Tusk. Keener's dead, but his legacy's just starting. Once you've wrapped up the main game and take down Aaron Keener and Warlords of New York, the story doesn't just end. It explodes into a sprawling narrative across multiple seasons, starting with Season 1 and stretching all the way to Year 6. It's a tale of betrayal, corruption, and survival, and every season adds a new layer to the chaos. It kicks off with you cleaning up Keener's mess, his rogue network still causing trouble, and you're sent after his lieutenants, like Molly Hornet Anderson, his slippery operative who's keeping his legacy alive. You take her down, but Black Tusk swoops in, flexing their muscle and hinting they're the real power now. Meanwhile, the True Sons are splintering, with General Peter Anderson jumping ship, forcing you to hunt him down too. Factions are falling apart and trust is fraying, especially when Agent Alani Kelso starts acting cagey, dropping cryptic hints she might not be all in with the division. The stakes climb higher when you target Barden Schaefer, Black Tusk's big shot. You corner him at Coney Island, but he slips away and whispers tie him to the hunters. So by now you know that Fei Lao went rogue and sides with the Black Tusk. You track her down to Camp White Oak and take her out, only to learn she was a double agent, warning you about the hunters before she died. Her death shakes you, and suddenly, the hunters aren't just a ghost story. They're a real threat tied to something bigger. That something bigger starts to take shape when you chase Agent Brian Johnson, aka the Recruiter. Taking him down uncovers dirt on Calvin McManus, the Homeland Security Secretary, who's been pulling strings from the shadows. Turns out the hunters are his enforcers, and he's neck deep in corruption. The division's rotting from the inside, and McManus is the cancer. Around the same time, you're clashing with faction heavies, like a cleaner boss or another rogue player, keeping the chaos burning while Black Tusk keeps pushing their agenda. Things get wilder when you hunt Zachary Stovepipe Beatty, a rogue agent working with Black Tusk. You track him to Coney Island, but he's already dead. Black Tusk beat you to it. And now you're fighting their Robo Warhound Sparkle. Their tech's on another level, and you're scrambling to keep up. The deeper you dig, the more McManus schemes come into focus. Every target you hit, from rogue agents to hunter puppets, ties back to him and his power grab. Then the bombshell hits. Kelso goes full rogue. You're hunting her down, and she slips through your fingers, but not before dropping a nuke. Keener and Theo Parnell are alive. Keener, the guy you thought you'd buried, is back, and his rogue network's still kicking. Suddenly, you're thinning out his loyal leftovers, his first rogues, and dismantling Parnell's crew, a tech-savvy bunch causing havoc with gadgets straight out of Keener's playbook. Every fight chips away at their influence, but it's like fighting a hydra. Cut off one head, and another grows back. The pieces start falling into place when Kelso resurfaces with intel about Lau's recruitment and a mysterious Cassandra mission. Schaefer's name pops up again too, linking Black Tusk, the Hunters, and McManus into one messy web. It's all about building towards something massive, a showdown in Brooklyn, teased in the upcoming Battle for Brooklyn DLC. From the early days of chasing Hornet to piecing together Lau's past and Keener's return, this saga's been a slow burn of betrayal and escalation. So here's the big picture. The division's barely holding on, rogues are everywhere, Black Tusk's tech is terrifying, McManus is playing puppet master, and Keener's ghost is haunting every move. Lau's death, Kelso's turn, and the Hunter threat have turned allies into enemies, and Brooklyn's shaping up to be a war zone where it all comes crashing down. There's a crazy rumor floating around that Barden Schaefer, you know, the Black Tusk honcho who's been napping in a coma since we nabbed him at Coney Island, might pop up for the Battle for Brooklyn DLC. Is this just us hyping ourselves up? Let's chop it up and figure it out. Alright, first things first. No official word from Ubisoft on Schaefer waking up. Their teasers for the DLC are all about the cleaners lighting Brooklyn up and rogue agents like Alani Kelso stirring the pot, with not a whisper about our boy Schaefer. So on paper, it's just fan chatter, not fact. But hold up, the game's been dropping hints about him forever. Does Descent Simulation audio logs? They spill that Aaron Keener and Bridget Douglas set him up to get caught, like it's part of some master plan. So while it's not confirmed, it's not totally random either. Fans are connecting the dots, and I gotta say, it's got me wondering too. Let's play with this idea for a sec. What happens if Schaefer shakes off the coma and jumps back in? Brooklyn's already a hot mess, with cleaners torching everything and rogues running wild. Schaefer's a straight-up tactical beast. If he's back leading Black Tusk, he could turn them into a freaking nightmare. Organized, ruthless, the works. It'd kick the stakes up a notch, giving us a real fight on our hands. Oh, and don't sleep on that Hunter angle. One was lurking around when we took him down. That's a juicy loose end waiting to pop off. Now here's where it gets wild. Schaefer's tied to Natalia Sokolova, the Ice Cold CEO pulling Black Tusk strings. If he wakes up and he's still her loyal lapdog, he'd be her ace in the hole, running her Brooklyn takeover like a pro. But what if that coma flipped the switch? What if he comes back with his own vibe, ready to throw down against her? That'd crack Black Tusk wide open, a power struggle we could totally mess with. Either way, loyal or rogue, Schaefer waking up would make this DLC's story way spicier. For now, it's all just talk. No hard proof, just a dope what if fans are running with. But man, it fits the Division 2 style. Throwing curveballs and keeping us on our toes. Until Ubisoft drops the real scoop, I'm keeping Schaefer's comeback in my back pocket as a probably maybe. If it happens, Brooklyn's gonna turn into a full-on war zone, and I'm kinda stoked for it. And there you have it, agents. You're now armed with all that lore intel you need to dive into the Battle for Brooklyn DLC like a seasoned pro. We've journeyed through the chaos of New York, the twists of DC, and every manhunt, betrayal, and rogue agent in between. Brooklyn's gearing up to be an epic showdown. Now you're ready for it. Hey, and if you feel like liking and subscribing, I'm cool with that. Hey, something's weird. Hey, there's something weird happening to my section. Hello? Hello? You hear that? Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm Tuxedo Bandido, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on the good stuff I have coming for you. And if you like content like this, be sure to check out the video I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you would like me to cover, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make things possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be the same without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandido to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Wait, did we just become best friends?